Well, good morning, guys, from North Lake, Prince Edward Island, Canada, the Maritimes. I hope you're having a great day. Beck and I are going giant bluefin tuna fishing with David from Tide and Time Charters. This is going to be a heck of an experience. We're also going to share 10 tips why you should take a fishing charter, especially if you're traveling. Yeah, it is really nice and refreshing, and it's going to be a unique viewpoint because David of Tide and Time Charters, captain, and those of you who follow our channel, I'm a captain back home in Alaska. Before our full-time traveling chapter, I was a fishing guide, and I still hold a 50-ton master's ticket. So you're going to get the perspective of a couple people here on the value of a charter. All right, so there's two lines out, and Rebecca's catching some mackerel for bait. First up on our list, number one, the 1090 Club. And if you don't know what this is, it's a huge one. That is 10% of the anglers catch 90% of the fish. And it means the other 90% of the anglers are pretty much fighting for 10% of the fish. And the answer is obvious, which side of the equation you want to be on. How is it making bait?
It was fun, actually, like super easy.
Live bait is key in so many fisheries. Okay, let's jump right into number two. Local knowledge is priceless, especially if you're fishing waters that are foreign to you. You're gonna have a lot greater odds of catching fish if you're with somebody who fishes the area day in and day out, and they have their finger on the pulse. And I say that, the perfect example today is yesterday they were fishing out of Morel, and the fish have moved on, and now we're fishing out of North Lake. So number two, local knowledge is priceless. Okay, we're gonna make a move down the line. There's a report of some fish. Okay, they're getting the line set out again, but number three really depends on the fishery, but you're gonna have better odds of bringing home meat. And from us being the Alaska perspective, that's the food that we eat all winter long, well, when we're home. And for example, this fishery, they don't really eat these bluefin. A lot of them on the commercial side will get shipped to Asia. I also know Hawaii, you don't necessarily get to keep your catch. That goes to the commercial market. But many times, especially like in the Southern California offshore fishery, you know, you catch a yellowfin, a yellowtail, or dorado, that's your fish. You get to eat it. Okay, let's take a minute and introduce Captain David from Tide and Time Charters.
My name's David Sampson. I've been a tuna charter captain for 6 years, on the water for 40 plus years. Lobster fishing, mackerel fishing, herring fishing, pretty well name it, halibut fishing.
Fishing's in your blood.
Fishing's in the blood, yeah. My father fished for 40 some years. My grandfather fished for over 45 years, and just kind of way of life.
And it's not a bad life.
Not bad at all, yeah. You can make a decent life, and sometimes, some years, you can have real good.
But you're doing what you love.
I wouldn't do anything else.
Exactly.
Wouldn't do anything else.
Thank you again for taking us out today. So let's jump into number four, and you're probably going to associate with this one a little bit. But when you're traveling, you can't always bring your boat with you if you own a boat. And it's not always practical to tow your boat. Say you're in San Diego and you want to go salmon fishing in the Pacific Northwest, for example. It's not always practical. So you could actually save money and hassle and convenience by just booking a charter in your destination versus dragging your boat all over the country.
Well, exactly, yeah. And as far as here, when you come on charter, I supply 100% of everything. All you need is pair of sneakers or a pair of boots. I usually have oil gear and boots if necessary. All food, drinks, all the best to tackle you can buy.
What's for lunch today?
Ham sandwiches.
Nice.
And usually we have charters for any more than 3 or 4 days. There's sky's the limit.
Awesome. Time to make a move, Skipper.
Rock to the west. Start our drift all over again.
Okay, so we just made a quick move. They're getting the lines back out again, but I'm gonna touch on number 5. Boat payments suck. And I'm speaking from experience, having owned a boat before. It's a very interesting equation because you can look like, okay, well, say for example, you live in an area and you're making a boat payment of like $400 to $1,000 a month. Are you able to use that boat year round? Or is it more economical to just take 2 or 3 charters a year to fill the freezer? So owning a boat is not everything it's cracked up to be. There's a lot of associated fees, maintenance, and work. So think about it that way. Take a few charters a year instead of owning a boat. Okay, number 6, you saw them getting the lines ready and out fishing, but fishing charters, they're gonna have the best tackle and the best gear. And I say that because this gear is gonna get used day in and day out, and you want it to be strong, reliable, and capable. And anybody who's bought fishing tackle, especially these monstrous rods and reels, it's expensive, guys. Uh-oh, birds have taken the bait.
Birds instead of fish.
There's always some little pest that you have to deal with. All right, it's time for another move. We're just essentially buying our time right now until slack tide. I'm gonna segue this one into number 7. You don't want to break any fishing laws. And fishing regulations can be very detailed, specific, intense, borderline a pain in the butt. Like I just learned that there is no sport fishery for these giant bluefin here. So the residents can't just go have their own boat and come out fishing. So you really want to pay attention to the laws. There's so many ways that the laws can be broken, and it's just always better to be safe. All right, the next stop. As the day progresses, the wind is going to pick up. We're already starting to see some white caps, and also the wind is the reason why we're doing so much of the filming inside the cabin here of the boat, because wind noise will pretty much kill a video. It's getting good. We got our first hit.
I just marked one here, Dave.
Yeah, I had one come up with both kites. Come up and the outside one we never noticed them, and the inside one he killed the mackerel. So when we hauled them in, there was a mark on the outside one too. And I marked 2 fish after that. But quiet here now. That was only 5 minutes ago.
Oh geez, yeah, it sounds a lot more fishy there than here.
Well, I have the feeling we are going to start catching some fish. So I'm going to hit on number 8. Don't skimp. If you are traveling to an area and you have a dream of, for example, catching a giant bluefin tuna, don't skimp. Embrace the opportunity. Book that charter. A lot of people, when they travel overseas, they like to catch whatever fish is available. If that's your passion, just make it happen. Well, there's a bit of excitement. A shark hit and nicked a leader, so getting everything re-rigged up. False alarm, another shark. We're gonna make a move, guys.
Gotta get away from the sharkies.
Yep, they'll follow the scent. We'll use that bit of excitement to segue into number 9. It's fun being the client. Coming from a captain's perspective, I'm used to working the deck. I got my head on a swivel. I know what every twitch of the rod means, and I'm having fun learning from these guys because I see them doing the same exact thing. Like, for example, David, you heard the clip release on that one, and it's just getting that trained ear and trained eye, but it is very fun and refreshing being a client every now and then.
Put out the black guy.
Well, guys, the catching has been a little rough today. We are in good company. I don't think Captain's heard of anybody in the local fleet catching anything today. We are not giving up hope because slack tide is 2 o'clock and it's 1:30. So you got that half hour on each side of it to make something happen. Alright, this was an odd situation here, guys, but we got a fish. It's probably even under a couple 100 pounds, but it was fighting so unlike a tuna that they thought it was a shark. So it came up to the boat and poof, it was a small bluefin. So that was the first, huh?
It was, yeah.
Smallest one ever.
Well, guys, this is going to be rather anticlimactic, but the weather's picking up. It's time to head back to the barn. It is 4 o'clock right now. We're trophy fishing today, and keep in mind when you're trophy fishing, those type of fish don't just jump into the boat. Yeah, and this is also a real video. So jumping in, number 10, professional fishing guides go fishing with professional fishing guides. That's because we know we're experts in our waters, so there's experts in the waters that you're visiting. Now it's time to head back to the barn. Forgive the wind noise, but that's pretty much the only fish of any size that was caught here in North Lake today. And what we learned is that certain fish can be kept by the captain if they have a permit, and then it goes to market. So all in all, it's a catch and release fishery, but I think David said he was issued one tag this year for one fish that he could actually take to market. We've had a great time today with David and Darcy here at Tide and Time Charters, and we highly recommend visiting them because they worked really hard to give us a great day. David, thank you so very much.
You're quite welcome.
Darcy, pleasure meeting you.
You too.
And now here's a bonus, number 11, which is kind of like in the whole David Letterman theme. Another one of the best parts about taking a fishing charter is you don't have to clean the boat.
True.
All right, so hey, thanks for riding along with us today in this real life fishing experience, and hope you enjoyed our 10 tips on why it's great to take a fishing charter. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you,
Take care.
David.